Hello, everyone. Hello, Holger, George, hey, Esther, hello, Shai, and Frank. Okay. Lovely to be with you. So if you can turn your attention to presence, being, which already is formless reality of being. You don't need to do anything in order to be. You already are. Not in time. You do not appear as an object. The storyline about you is not that which you are. That which perceives right now, that which hears these words, is not the body-mind instrument. The body-mind instrument is perceived. Via a particular mind, there is a certain perception. Such as hearing these words. But the perception, that which you perceive, does not reveal that which you are. That which you perceive does not reveal the reality which perceives it. You are this reality. Which we refer to as I, not I somebody. I, presence, awareness, consciousness. Which is not limited. In our experience, I is, and I is aware. But there are nowhere any boundaries to be found. It's an open field of being, an open field of knowingness, of awareness. Your entire experience is permeated with awareness. Although your entire mind is permeated with awareness, and although your mind is limited, this does not imply that you, awareness, are limited. Because between every perception, you do not disappear. The thought may disappear, the perception may disappear. But awareness does not disappear. In our experience, there is no experience of a beginning of awareness or the ending of awareness. we imagine that because a thought has a beginning, that awareness has a beginning. It's like imagining because a wave is arising, has a beginning, that the ocean has a beginning. But experientially, we have no evidence of awareness having a beginning or an ending. So why do we assume, believe, and feel that we have a beginning and an ending? Maybe we mistake ourselves to be a particular mind, a particular body-mind. While we are the reality that perceives as evidenced moment by moment. I perceive the mind, I perceive thought, I perceive the sensation, memory. I perceive the oak tree in the yard. I perceive traffic in downtown LA. I perceive the hum of the airplane. Sensations within the body. What leads you to believe that awareness is limited to perceiving through only one particular body and not through another? Is it your experience that you are not perceiving through another body-mind? Or is it your belief? What is the reality of your experience? What does the reality of your experience tell you about yourself? Does it tell you that you are limited? Does it tell you that you are bound to a particular body-mind? Is the water different in the Pacific Ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean, or in the Mediterranean? Is water different? Or is it the same water? What leads you to believe that you are limited to a particular body-mind? What if the narrative that is running through your mind is just a narrative, sound waves, like the sound of traffic? Pointing directly to borderless awareness, the aliveness of awareness. if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore. Make sure you unmute yourself.
Hi, Magdi. I'd love to ask a question, if it's okay with you.
Yes. Hello, Shai.
Hi.
Hey.
I'd like to ask a question, if that's okay with you.
Yes, please.
Okay. First of all, you have explained that the separate self is the belief that I, awareness, am limited to the body-mind world, or that I, awareness, am just a person. I understand that. A lot of the non-duality teachers, they talk about the I, me thought as one of the causes of suffering. And I would very much like to know, what do you think about the I thought, or the me thoughts, and if they cause any suffering when things happen?
Yes. The thought, the me thought, the I-me thought is not just a passing thought, it's a belief. A belief is a thought that has roots, that the wind blows, but the thought remains. The belief is not just a thought. It's a thought that has disguised itself as a truth. So the belief that I, meaning there's only one I, it's only one I, and I refers to the reality that perceives right now. Awareness, consciousness. So the belief that I, consciousness, is a limited body-mind entity, or depends on the body-mind, or is located within the body-mind, or is born with the body-mind and dies with the body-mind, and goes from one body-mind to another body-mind after death. This sort of belief is what we experience as the sense of limitation. Sense of limitation, we experience it as worry and concern and fear. And we experience it also as a sense of lack. Something is missing. Something is missing. So both the sense of lack and the fear of death, or the fear of ending, or fear, are what we refer to as the belief that consciousness is limited and separate. Suffering, yes, you could call that suffering. You could call it misery, unhappiness. So the experience of limitation is that I exist in time and space. I am subject to conditions. I meaning consciousness. I'm a body-mind entity. I'm some sort of entity that is subject to conditions. When the conditions are good, I'm good. When the conditions are bad, I'm bad. When the conditions are disastrous, I'm disastrous. And of course, that there is no peace in that. There is no joy, there's no happiness, there's no beauty in that.
So basically, every time I have an I or me thought, well, let me give an example. Let's say I have this thought goes, oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm angry. Oh, why is this happening to me? Every time I get this I thought or me thought, it's basically the belief that I am a separate self, that I, awareness, am a body mind. Basically, every time I have the I, me thought, that's what's going on inside.
Yes, the I, me thought is an expression or a manifestation or how the belief shows itself, how it appears. But it's not the belief itself. The belief doesn't appear. When you look at when the belief appears, then it's no longer a belief, because then you see it. You see the belief. When you see the belief, say, oh, I believe the earth is flat, and you see it. So, well, that's a belief, you see it. But it doesn't appear, the belief doesn't appear. What appears is, wow, this earth is really flat. If we travel, it appears as a thought. If we travel for 20,000 miles, we'll never get to the end of the, it's just gonna, so yes, whenever the I thought appears, it is a manifestation of the belief.
So once I clearly stop believing that, then it won't matter if the I or me thoughts come and go.
It will not arise anymore. Once you see through the belief that the earth is flat, then the thought that that of linearity no longer appears to you, because you've seen through the belief.
So in the meantime, the manifestation of this belief comes in the form of an I or me thought. When I'm saying
it arises both in the I thought, the me thought, like you just described it, but also it arises in the feeling, the feeling that I am inside the room, I am here, I am a me, I'm a person. The feeling is not verbal. The feeling is cellular, is somatic. The feeling that I am somebody, I'm me, I'm a man, I'm here, I exist as I exist. That feeling is also the way that the belief also manifests in our experience.
I see.
The feeling is deeper, more deeply entrenched, more believable than the thought.
In other words, if the I, me was just a thought without any belief attached to it, then it would just pass through. Can you hear me?
Repeat that. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In other words, if the I or me was just a thought, then it would just pass through, just like other thoughts.
Yes, like a bird flies fly through the window.
Right. But because it's accompanied, attached to a belief that I am separate, then it feels sticky. Until
the belief keep generating these thoughts. The belief keeps generating the thought, what's going to happen to me tomorrow? What is my meaning? The belief of that I'm a separate entity bubbles up to the surface in various thoughts.
Yes, I understand.
As you're seeing through the belief, the bubbling of those thoughts rests less and less.
Yes.
You're starting to have doubts. You're starting to say, wait a minute, I refers to the reality that perceives. I am right now. What is it, I right now? When you look at I right now and you see that, I is awareness. And then you explore, well, is this awareness, is it my experience that this awareness is arising out of the brain? Do I have any proof of that, any experience of that? Yes, there is a thought that says awareness arises out of the brain. Is that thought evidence? Is the thought that says awareness is located in my head, for example? Is that thought evidence? Is this thought an evidence No. So you start having some doubts. If you contemplate, you look at this question of the reality of awareness, of consciousness, and its locality. Is it local? I mean, what evidence do I have that awareness is local? I mean, yes, there is awareness right now. Is awareness inside this room? I feel it's inside this room. Okay, is a feeling, for example, the feeling, is that evidence? If you feel that there is a dragon outside of your house.
No, it's not. It's not. A feeling is not evidence.
It's not an evidence. So,
no,
so you start, so the belief in that the consciousness is or awareness is limited and is located and is dependent on the body mind. That's some cracks in the belief. There are cracks that start happening in the belief, you see, and you continue to look at this belief. And also you invite yourself to say, wait a minute, okay, I have lived for 30, 40, 50 years with the belief that I am this person. Consciousness is a male body or a female body, is a son, a daughter, a mother, whatever. Fine, I lived with this belief for, now I experiment with living as awareness, not as a person, as this borderless, expanded awareness. So also you start to explore that in living this way, living, seeing the others as yourself, seeing the world as your body, seeing the world as you. And this experimentation has an effect, The effect, you will see whether the effect will be, oh, no, you're on the wrong road. You're on the wrong path. You have to go back to being this man, this person, this brother, this son. You have to, or the effect will be, yeah, we'll see. We will see the effect. There'll be an effect. The effect will be, yes, or it will be, no, return to your old belief, you see. So, yes, so coming back to your question about the I thought. So the I thought is a belief, it's more of a belief. And it is rooted, it arises as a belief. The I thought arises from the belief. I thoughts.
That I awareness am a separate entity, right?
The belief that I awareness, I'm a man, or it's separate. I mean, body, mind. I'm beginning. I have a beginning. I began in 1970. I'm going to end in 2030, whatever, 2050. I have a house. I own a house. I awareness. I'm a son of some. I'm born. That I awareness. In the brain. I awareness, I'm going to transmigrate from another body, from one body to another body when the body dies, blah, blah, blah. That awareness is limited, personal, local, dependent. And then you have your experience of awareness. Awareness is not a concept. Awareness is, we have experience of awareness. Awareness means to be aware. Awareness is awareness and isness. We have experience directly, so we can go to awareness directly. So we can ask awareness. We can ask awareness. Are you located inside a house? You ask awareness. You don't ask memory, or you don't ask thought, or you don't ask your neighbor, or you don't ask the encyclopedia. You ask awareness. How do you ask awareness? Because you are awareness. Awareness.
But
I awareness.
But awareness never spoke to me, never told me I'm this, I'm that.
Of course, it speaks to you, but not, in a way that is more direct. For example, if you ask yourself, am I aware?
Am I aware? Yes, of course I'm aware.
What?
Yeah, yes, of course I'm aware.
Yes. What told you that?
It came from I don't know. I mean, it didn't. I don't think it came from the brain, because it was like a knowing that came.
Yes, this answer came to you from the experience of awareness.
Oh.
If there was no experience of awareness, you couldn't say yes, I'm aware. When you say, am I aware? The answer is yes, I'm aware. So awareness, experience of awareness itself is telling you, yes, of course, yes. When you ask yourself, do I perceive?
Do I perceive?
Do I perceive? Yes.
Of course.
How do you answer, do I perceive?
The answer just came to me. I didn't have to, to go back to memory to think about it.
It comes from awareness. Awareness speaks to you. When you ask, do I perceive the oak tree in the yard? You say, yes, I perceive the oak tree in the yard. You're not asking the oak tree. You're not asking, hello, oak tree. You ask, do I perceive the oak tree in the yard? The answer is yes, it comes from awareness. But the reason why you say awareness doesn't speak to me, because we are used to think in physical, in phenomenal. Like, for example, I understand when my mother speaks to me. I understand when the neighbor speaks to me, because it's phenomenal. But we are so used to just limit our experience to phenomenal, to body-mind, that we overlook the reality of consciousness. We only, via the senses, you don't perceive awareness. Awareness is not blue, not red, not big, not small, not female, not male. So we discard awareness from the senses, from the point of view of the senses, meaning from the point of view of the mind. Awareness is just a concept, a soul, a concept. But that's from the perspective of the instrument, from the perspective of the instrument, of the senses. But from the perspective of awareness, which is the reality of our experience right now, awareness is, it knows it is. It knows it perceives. It knows it is complete freedom. And awareness knows that the body has a limited freedom. You cannot jump 20 feet or 50 feet. You can only jump 10 feet. Awareness knows the limitations of the body-mind. Awareness is the only knowingness. I mean, there's only one knowingness, which is the knowingness that belongs to awareness.
Well, I just did. I'll just finish by saying I did. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you very okay. Don't worry, it's my ears. Yeah, no, go ahead.
I just did a little experiment right now in this moment. When I asked awareness, are you limited? And everything got really quiet, like peaceful. But I didn't get an answer, yes, no. Does that make any sense?
Yes, that's okay. It makes sense. So what you're saying is that you don't have any evidence that awareness is limited or that it's not limited, either way.
No.
Okay, so good. Therefore, the belief that I am a body mind, that I am born, there's no evidence for that. All you need to do is be clear about that. There is no evidence that you are a limited body mind. That's good enough. You don't need to get any evidence that you are not limited, because there is no other reality outside of the reality of awareness that can prove that awareness is limitless. You cannot prove it via an experiment.
Yeah.
It's more of an intuitive, it's more like an intuitive understanding. But it's okay, you know, we don't need to really go there. It's enough for you to, like you just said, when you ask that question and about is awareness limited, and there was no answer, either yes or no. Therefore, from your direct experience, you have no evidence that awareness is born.
Oh, yeah. Right. Even if I get no answer, I mean, no yes or no, then I have no evidence that awareness is limited then.
Right. You have no evidence that awareness is limited, is born, or is local.
Right.
So then you can live from this not knowing, because it's not enough to come to the conclusion, okay, I have no evidence that awareness is limited and mortal. I have no evidence that awareness is born. I have no evidence that awareness is local. But I'm going to continue to live the same old way I've been living, like I am this man. What's the point then? You have to now live, you have to explore living with this not knowing.
Yes. And the way to live it is to constantly remind myself this over and over and over again, and it's being permanently.
If that resonates for you, but I would say that whenever the belief and the feeling arises that something is happening to me,
yeah,
you are in the wrong model. Because in that moment, you've assumed the me. You've concluded that you, meaning awareness, is a person. You have no evidence for that.
Right.
So whenever that sort of thought arises out of the belief, then you have to sort of take a break and remind yourself that, wait, there is no evidence for that. So if I continue to step, if I follow that thought, follow that feeling, I am like a blind man walking like a blind man walking without a stick. I'm gonna trip and fall and break my arm or break my leg. So it's more about noticing the false sense of I, the false thought and the false feeling. False, I'm saying false because there's no evidence for it.
Right.
Noticing it and having the fortitude, having the temerity, having the tenacity, having the conviction that is not the path to follow. Although your feelings will tell you, oh, they did that to me, they deserve to be punished, they shouldn't do that to me. Although your feelings are trying to push you to continue in the old direction, you have to honor your understanding. Because if you don't honor your understanding, what's its use? So you have to You have to live your understanding, live according to your understanding that there is no evidence that I am immortal body mind. There is no evidence. So the fear, when fear arises, the fear always pertains to me as a body mind, to me as a person. Right? So,
right, I understand. Thank you so much, Magdi.
Okay. Okay, Shay, you're welcome. Any questions?
Hey Magdi, I got a question, but I can't turn on my camera because I'm driving, so I don't want to distract anybody.
Okay.
Oh, thanks. Okay, hey, so I really loved. I was you did the meditation. I really loved it so much. Just wanted to tell you how appreciative I am of you and the meditations and everything, and these questions and answers. It's just it's golden. They're golden. They're priceless. The question I have for today is that the other day you said something that it really stuck out to me because it didn't alleviate, although it seems to be true according to my understanding so far. But what you said was that we're like the body mind's almost like light bulbs on a grid, and we're the grid. And so I was with my mom this week who had COVID. My mom's 90 years old. She had COVID. So I really thought at one point she was going to leave me because she was really, really sick. I was with her 24/7 for 8 days, actually almost 10 days. And at one point I thought she was dying. And I was trying to, really think about this idea that, we're the grid, that she's the grid. She's not that light bulb that she appears to be. But I seem to love the light bulb, and I don't want to see the light bulb go out. So how do I whatever the word is, how do I reconcile this, the truth with this feeling of not wanting to let go of the light bulb?
Yes. So you need to understand, Frank, that whatever can be let go of sooner or later is going to be let go of. It's bound. The apple on the branch of the tree that is ripening and ripening, it is bound, it is meant, and it is proper, and it is correct for at some point in time for the apple to fall off the tree, to be harvested. But also you need to understand that which is eternal is the reality of that which is and that which we are. There is a reality. Our experience is experience of reality. So with your mom, you've loved your mom when she was, when you were a young boy, when you were a teenager, when you were a few years later, you always have loved your mom. Your mom, of 20-year-old mom and 30, 40, 50, now 90-year-old mom, the body mind, the body, the object that it was not that kept changing. It's not the object that you were in love with. You're in love with your mom. And what we call my mom is just a word, it's a word. You loved the reality of your mom, not just the form of your mom. The form of your mom was very pleasant, of course. You enjoyed it sometimes you didn't, when she was punishing you because you were a bad boy.
True.
Then you didn't like her too much,
Oh, there are still times when I don't like her. It's still, but I love her. But there are times when I don't like her.
But you still loved her, yes.
Exactly.
Although you may not like her how she spoke to you. She was upset. She was busy. She had some pressure, and she told you, "Just leave me alone," or something like that. You didn't like that, but you still loved her. So it's not what you love in your mom is always there. Yes. So, but it's not how your mom appears, or how your mom is that you love. It's no matter how she appears, how she is, you love her. So that which you love in your mom is not so much the form, not the appearance. You enjoy the appearance of your mom, the company of your mom, hugging your mom, taking care of your mom. Yes. But that which you love is much way beyond that. And the enjoyment is how we celebrate love in life. You also enjoy maybe the company of some friends when friends that you like, you enjoy. There is a joy in also other things in your life, and this joy is also how our love celebrates itself, expresses itself in our life. But attachment is more comes from some worry or concern or fear, or it's a wrong view. It's a wrong view that says that this thing has to remain for me. I need to have this remaining for me in order for me to be happy. What will happen if that thing, I lose the thing? Then what's going to happen to my happiness? What's going to happen to my joy? What's going to happen to the love? That's a belief that love, although it expresses itself phenomenally in your relationship with your mom, that love depends on your mom having an experience of your mom. No, love doesn't depend on having an experience with your mom. Love expresses itself as a happy experience with your mom, as a joyful experience with your mom, but it doesn't depend. So love expresses itself in infinite ways. You have to come to that understanding that love expresses itself in many different ways, but it does not depend on how it expresses itself. So in your reasoning and in your feeling, there is a mistaking the love for how it expresses itself, and believing or feeling that the love depends on how it expresses itself. So if I lose my mom, then what is going to happen to the love? You see, that's the belief that the love, the joy, the freedom, the happiness is dependent on Didi, you're experiencing your mom and your mom remaining alive. And the other thing that you need to understand, Frank, is maybe some concern about, oh my God, what's going to happen to my mom? But your mom is not the body. Like you, Frank, there is a body we call Frank, which you experience, which you perceive, which you sense. But you are not the body. You are that which experiences the body, like you experience right now, hearing, like you experience, for example, breathing, or like you experience seeing. If you're driving, maybe you're seeing some trees, or you're seeing the sky. So you're perceiving. So you are the perceiver. You are, and the perceiver is not an object. You perceive objects. You perceive a house. You perceive a tree. You perceive a hand. You perceive your leg. You perceive a toothache. You perceive forms. But you that perceives the form doesn't mean that you are a form. You are not a form. So your mom is not a form. Your mom is not the body that you say, oh, this is my mom. No, this is the body that we call my mom, or whatever your mom's name is. That's the name of the body. But she is not the body. She's consciousness. She's a consciousness. She's the same awareness that you are. And awareness doesn't born or die. Doesn't born or die. Now, this may not be the understanding of your mom. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is still the reality that is your mom is not the body. It's not the body. So we have to allow the body to take its path, like we allow the fruit, the apple on the tree, to take its path. It would be mad if the fruits on the tree, they just never ripen. You know, they never ripen. No, you have to allow the flow of life, including the birth and death of body minds. The birth and death of body minds is how manifestation is. It has its purpose, its role, its function, and we're all part of this movement, of this flow on the surface of the ocean, the waves, you know, up and down. One wave is born, one wave dies, another is born, another is die. But the ocean is what reality is. So your love for your mom and your mom's love for you is the same love. It is the love that we share, the love that we are. You are this love that your mom is. Now, when you get anxious about the body of your mom, indirectly, you are telling your mom, Mom, you are going to die. But your mom isn't going to die. Your mom is not the body that you perceive. You are not the body that you perceive in the mirror when you look in the mirror, or when you look at the picture of your driver's license and you see Frank, a picture of Frank, or when you look at your legs or your arms, you are perceiving a perception. You are the perceiver. You are the reality that perceives. And this reality is not made out of flesh and bones. You see, awareness is not made out of flesh and bones. So you don't want to tell your mom, Mom, you are made out of flesh and bones. Indirectly. I know that I don't mean directly. Directly, you're going to tell your mom, I love you, Mom, I understand. But you don't want to indirectly tell your mom, oh my God, I'm worried about you, about you're going to die. No. All you want to tell your mom is, I love you, all is well, here I am, I do my best for you as much as I can. And I know deep down in my heart what you are, because I have been looking at this, and I know deep down in my heart that you are myself. You are the same reality that I am, the same. I enjoy seeing you. I probably will have many images and memories of you and fond, feelings about you and whatever. We don't know. My mom passed quite a few years ago. I have very fond, beautiful, loving, I don't know how to call them. I don't know. It's more than a feeling. It's like I sense the love, for her and her love for me. I do. It's really, it's really, and sometimes I sort of, it's as if I'm feeling like how I'm holding her and kissing her, and how I used to come and kiss her cheek and tell her good night, when she was going to bed. I get these, it's just fleeting things. And so the understanding is very important, because when we don't have the understanding about what reality is, what I am, meaning what your mom is, then the default mode is, that we are mortal body minds, and we're limited, and we're incapacitated, and we're sick, and we're blah 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 blah. This life is magical because it is about awareness, about creativity, about creation, about freedom, about joy, about happiness, about beauty, about love, about friendship, about loving one's mom, about being loved by one's mom. It's tremendous. That's tremendous.
So Magdi, I love what you're saying. I want to bring in a little bit about suffering, because I was watching a lot of suffering going on, and I could see that it's like sort of a lot of it's self-made, suffering, the things that we tell ourselves. Like my mom, when she was sick, so she was telling herself all these crazy things, that she was going to die, and then she was, it could have happened too, because she was very sick. But I was watching paying attention to what she was saying, and a lot of it was just the self-made suffering that she's bringing it on herself, like the negativity and the and a lot of fears and stuff. And so I was trying to figure out if this is like, I was sort of being brought into it a little bit. I was being, instead of saying, like they say, stay out of the river, instead of don't dive into the river, as somebody just kind of stay out and give them the rope, right? So I was kind of trying to send her the rope, but I really couldn't. I didn't know if that was the suffering is anything I should feel even bad about, although it does affect me, of course, because I don't want to see my loved one suffer. But is there really anybody, if there's no separate self, is there really even anybody suffering at all?
Yeah. When we are in the company of somebody who is unhappy, let's say, for example, or who is going through some emotions, or we sense that. No, it's not that we are suffering with them. We sense because there is a transparency between us. It's like when you are with somebody who is, for example, very funny, and maybe you don't feel very funny, but you are with them for a while. Before you know it, you start laughing. It's something, or when you're with somebody who is peaceful, and you're coming, you may not be necessarily peaceful, but being around them for a while, you feel the peace, So there is something of that effect, in being with somebody who is in fear or concerned or worries, and you sense it. But it's important for you to realize that it's just what's happening in the space. It's not your doing. It's like you step out, your house is air conditioned, you step out in the outside, it's hot day. You're gonna feel the heat. Why? Because you're there, you're in that space, and you feel the heat because you're transparent to it. There isn't like a wall around you that's protecting you from the heat. So it's a normal thing to feel that, but it's not something that you are doing. It's not, and you're not suffering, but you're sensing. It's like a simpatico. You're sensing. With that, it's not a conscious process. It's not like you're trying to do anything. Now, what's helpful is that you don't fall in the same narrative. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, where are you going to go? What's going to happen to you? No, you hear it, you see it, and you're not trying to change your mom or preach to your mom. You're just present, you hear it, and you comfort her whichever way you can. Don't worry, I love you, I'm with you, never gonna leave you. She doesn't have to really understand, but she can feel your love, your presence, and your peace. Your peace is important. Yeah. Your peace is, you're not trying to change her, but your peace is there. It has an effect, But in order to be in the peace, you have to be at peace with all of it. Not just at peace because your mom is feeling better. You have to be in peace with all of it, how it's appearing, all of it. Not I'm peace with that, but not with it. I'm at peace with this, but not with that. Right? So when you're at peace with all of it, then you're at peace. You do what you need to do for your mom, yes. So the suffering is always the impression out of the belief that I am a mortal body mind. That's what the meaning of suffering. There is no body suffering. There is no sufferer. But the word suffering, the way we use it in the English language, refers to the sense of separation, the sense of limitation, the belief that I, consciousness, am a mortal body mind. But consciousness is not a mortal body. No matter how hard you want to believe it, no matter how hard all 7 billion of us believe it, consciousness remains.
Yeah.
The wide open sky is the wide open sky.
It's funny because when you and Shai were talking, I was like, I could see that there's just absolutely no way that consciousness could be limited in any way, because it's got to close your eyes and just notice. You just know that you can't be encased in a brain or in a head. Bone can't stop consciousness.
Right.
So, but I still have these two realities, almost like two realities going at the same time, where I'm with somebody who's sick and I'm worried about them dying, and I can't really see the fact, I can't bring in my understanding of unlimited consciousness to enough that I can really feel a lot of peace over what was going on. So I guess it takes time to reconcile.
Yes, one of the things that may be helpful, Frank, is to see manifestation, to see your mom, to see the world, to see those quote unquote objects, those forms, as nothing else but consciousness itself, awareness itself appearing as that. Not to see them as objects and that's it, but it's awareness, consciousness appearing as that. Like you see the waves is the water appearing as a wave. So it's to see everything that you're perceiving as awareness itself. It's all awareness. not a dichotomy, between the material model and the awareness model. No, it's all consciousness, all awareness, it's all vibration, it's all the dance of Shiva, the dance of consciousness.
Yeah. Does that shift in models come naturally, or is this something like you were talking about earlier? You were talking to Shay about you got to really have a conviction. Is this something that you actually make a decision on, or is this just an organic process that takes place?
It's more organic than any application that you do. The understanding is what matters. The understanding that is based on your direct experience. So the understanding, which is based on our direct experience right now, is about consciousness awareness, that consciousness is real. Awareness is real. Is blatantly real. And that there is one reality. So everything that appears is this one reality appearing. So the merging of the dissolving of the dichotomy between the material model and the consciousness model comes from our understanding that consciousness is real and that there is one reality. So therefore, everything we perceive, perceptions, sensations, thoughts, memories, bodily sensation, their substance, their essence, their reality is consciousness, awareness. There isn't another reality somewhere that has a different reality. There isn't a different reality. There's another reality. There isn't another reality out there called matter outside of the reality of consciousness.
Yeah.
So in our experience, we perceive a tree and we say, oh, there is a tree out there. There may be a tree out there, but the reality of the tree is awareness. And the reality of out there, whatever out there is awareness. Because what would out there be without awareness? What would over here be? What will be the significance of over here be without awareness? So the reality of out there, the material reality, the reality of in here, the reality of thought, is awareness. What would the reality of anything be outside of the reality of awareness? Nothing. And awareness is no evidence that awareness is material. Material form is a perception. The reality of the perception is not the perception. The reality of the perception is that which perceives. It's the formless presence. So there is an organic process of the deepening of the understanding and the being more and more established in this understanding. And this process goes hand in hand with a relaxation, not with a seeking, but a relaxation and a sort of, I don't like the word surrender, a relaxation into this understanding and being open for this understanding. And to be open to not knowing, to be open to not knowing.
Yes. Great, Magdi. This helps so much. It really does. Thank you so much.
Okay. My best for your mom.
Thanks.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
She's a lot better today, so I'm glad for that. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad to hear. Okay, wonderful, Frank. Okay. Thank you all. Very lovely to be with you, Holger and Frank, Manoj, George, Shai, and John. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you so much.